Good morning, children. Today we are starting the video recording of chapter Life Process. This is assignment based. In the chapter wise or the total chapter video has been sent early in advance in very detail. Today we are discussing the exercise questions. Okay? So in the first video we will be discussing the 4 important index questions that are very useful, so that we would be completing the entire the chapter in detail. Okay, so that is the last section of this assignment part. Okay, now the first question is this: why is diffusion insufficient to meet the oxygen requirements in multicellular organisms like humans? Then when we compare the unicellular and multicellular organism, in unicellular organisms like amoeba, the entire body, the single cell is in contact with the environment. So what happens, the diffusion helps in the exchange of gases in these unicellular organisms. Here, the oxygen can diffuse into the cell of the amoeba and they can utilize it, because the entire cell is in contact with the environment. Diffusion enough to meet the energy requirements. Diffusion enough to meet the oxygen requirement of amoeba. But in multicellular organisms like humans, there are 100 trillions of cells. Most of the cells are not in contact with the environment, and hence oxygen cannot diffuse into each and every cell. Not only that, diffusion is a slow process. We can understand the fact that to transport one molecule of oxygen from lungs to our toes, it would take 3 years. To transport oxygen from the lungs to the toes of our leg, it would take 3 years if diffusion were the main process of transporting oxygen from lungs to the toes. So diffusion is too slow process. So there are 2 reasons for this answer. First one, in multicellular organisms like a human being, the entire body or all the body cells are not in contact with the environment. So the oxygen cannot diffuse into each and every cell. First point is over. Now the second point, diffusion is too slow process. It cannot satisfy the energy, oxygen requirement, consequently energy availability in multicellular organisms. The reason behind it is that diffusion is slow process. It will take 3 years for one molecule of oxygen to diffuse from the lungs to reach to the toes. So this is the answer. Okay? Right. Now the second question: what criteria do we decide whether something is alive or not? Of course, we can understand that living organisms shows certain types of movements, might be molecular movements or body movements or locomotion. Living things grow, differentiate and develop. So living things grow, development and differentiate. Now, third important point, living things respond to the environment. Living things respond to the environment. Fourth one, we can say, living things take molecules of various kinds, resources from outside, and excrete the waste to the environment. The fifth one, living things evolve gradually and develop into new species in time being. So there are many reasons to decide something is alive or not. Is this first one? We can say living things show certain types of movements like molecular movements or body movements or locomotion that move from place to place. Second, the living things show growth, development and differentiation. In living things, there is constant movement of gases and materials from the surrounding to the environment and from organisms to the environment. Then we can say the organisms, all living things, respond to the stimuli and show the metabolism. Respond to stimuli and show metabolism. Living things evolve and produce new species. So there are many other characteristic features we can include in this category. So we have to study minimum 5 characteristic features. Okay. Now the fourth question: what are outside raw materials used by an organism? An organism uses various types of outside materials. For example, oxygen. We have to get oxygen from outside. We have to get water from outside. We have to get raw material for photosynthesis, for performing photosynthesis, like carbon dioxide. Even sunlight we have to get from outside. The living things get various raw materials from outside. It may include, you can see, carbon dioxide, water, mineral contents, and you can also say autotrophs need usually 3 important or 4 important contents. They need minerals for their growth and development. They need carbon dioxide from outside for photosynthesis. They need sunlight. Okay? And they need water. But all our heterotrophs, the raw materials are different. Their raw materials may be the food, carbon source. Carbon source, that is food. They need to get oxygen from outside. Oxygen from outside. Okay, so these are the various types of materials, and oxygen used for repair and release. Oxygen is used to release energy from the food and store energy in the form of ATP. So the raw materials required by plants for photosynthesis is almost different from the raw materials required by the heterotrophs. Okay, heterotrophs need direct food and oxygen for breakdown. They need water. But the phototrophs or plants, green plants, need carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and various types of minerals. So almost all organisms, the raw materials required is almost same. Okay, right. Now the fourth and the last question: what process would you consider essential for an organism? Okay, an organism performs various types of life process. Life processes are something that process, physiological activity that helps in the repair and maintenance of wear and tear caused due to the environment. In living organisms, due to the influence of the environment, the body undergoes constant wear and tear, and thereby, or because of which, the body of multicellular organism need to undergo repair and regeneration. So various life processes like excretion, digestion, circulation, respiration, all this helps in the repair and performing the maintenance job in multicellular organisms. So we can understand that various life process helps in maintaining the body stability or balance, or helps in repairing and maintenance of our various body organs. We can say nutrition, we can say respiration, transportation, excretion. All these are very, very simple. Okay, and I have already explained all this, and because we are sending the same, and I am explaining this once again. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.